Jessica Lempin. Hello with Photo Art Pavilion, and welcome to February's 2022 J&J Marketing Cafe. And today I am going to walk us all through some Facebook ads and boosted posts and show you just basically what to do as like an intro on marketing on social media. Later on, Joanne Hennig, also co-founder of Photo Art Pavilion, will be joining in and chiming in with a couple little bits and pieces here and there. So at this point, I'm going to ask everyone, if you can, please mute your mics, and I am going to share my screen and walk you through marketing. One of the big things is that I basically used myself as a guinea pig, and I was able to run a few different ads, and I basically recorded or took screenshots along the way. So hopefully everyone can see this. I'm just going to move my Zoom session here. Okay. So welcome. Setting up your own Facebook ads. I am walking you through a step-by-step process. So as you can see here, it's just my art photography page.
Looks like you froze, Jess.
Uh-oh.
There you are.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So let me backtrack a little bit. Setting up your own Facebook ads, walking you through a step-by-step process. As you can see, I am on my Facebook page. So boosting a Facebook post. So there's two different ways to market. One is obviously an ad, and two is to boost a post. So what you want to do, you want to be able to create your ad. So this is a sample of the ad I used in this string of marketing. I'm focusing on this beach scene. I have it in more of a lifestyle type shot. I have a little bit more of a marketing graphic. And it was a 2-image post that I set up in Instagram, which my Instagram feeds into Facebook. So, if everyone can, please mute your mics. I appreciate it. So when I set this up, I then went and into Facebook. So first I was in Instagram. I made my post, which fed to both outlets. I went into Facebook, and as you can see here, you could click on to pages. You click on your business art page. And then from there, you're able to see the navigation on the side, and you want to go into your ad center. Now, when you're in your ad center, your navigation is still going to be on the side. So for this presentation, I kind of zoomed in so you can actually read and see the details here. So again, you'll see the normal navigation on Facebook. You have your pages or links on the side. You have some other like ads and whatever on the other side. And here's the meat and potatoes. So here it is, the create ad button, which we want to go to. From there, they're going to give you options. So for this instance, we are taking a post that we've already created and launched through this Instagram and Facebook, and we want to boost it. So by clicking on boost, they're now going to be able to push you over into here. And it's going to be a series of all the recent posts that you've made. So for me, it was the first post or the last post that I've created. So all you need to do, you can actually look on Facebook or on Instagram, but granted, I have mine feeding onto both. I just stayed into the Facebook world, and I clicked on boost post. From there, it's going to give you a whole bunch of different options and things to fill out. So this is where it comes a little bit more detailed orientated. So I don't like the idea of Facebook just randomly selecting how they're going to have my audience interact with my boosted post. So I clicked on change. From there, I want to be able to get more engagement. So you can have the option where, Facebook is going to bounce between these two different options. I really didn't want to get the messages. I wanted them to be, I had my link in the post. It's a little bit more interactive that way. People can comment directly on the post itself. Granted, there's no wrong way. It's just how you see or how you intend your boosted posts to, what's the end result that you're looking for. So I wanted more engagement. So you just click on a little dot, you hit save. From there, the next step is setting your audience. So for me, I kind of had some information already set here, but I wanted to refine it a bit. So you're going to click on the little icon here. I mean, you can have Facebook kind of do a smart audience. You can choose different scenarios. I like to be a little bit more hands-on, and I clicked on the little pencil icon. A window pops up, and now you're able to really identify who it is you want your ad to be seen by. So you have the choice of selecting either men or women. You can select your age range. And from there, so you can see I kind of went a little bit mid-age here. I know my art kind of goes for a little bit more of an older audience. You figure someone who's a little bit more established and so on, and is seeking that finer elements for their home. I then narrowed down to location. So I'm located on Long Island in New York, and I wanted to have the audience that is, near the icon, the beaches and so on. So I wanted to really narrow down the type of person's location. So I went for Hampton Bays and Manhattan, and that kind of did a nice span, almost from Montauk all the way down to Manhattan, and it was a nice reach all around. From there, you can have even more detailing. So I'm trying to find a little bit more of a commercial feel for these ads. So again, a little bit more local market, business minded, and you can see you can actually select professions. You can select job titles, all these different key phrases and so on, as far as different type of people that may have an interest in artwork within their work environment. Facebook will always add different suggestions. So as you can see here, you could pick different stores and so on. So I tried to keep a little bit more business-minded profile for this ad, or boosted post, I should say. Now you can see by selecting these, I have an estimated audience of 2.3 to 2.7 million, which is a good reach. From there, once you hit OK on that window, you're going to go down a little bit, and now you're going to set your duration. So I know that Facebook and Instagram, being that they're owned by the same company, it's the same kind of process and analytics that they use. So they typically are going to want to have a 7 days or longer ad duration. This helps their analytics and so on figure out the right type of people to see the posts. Even though you make all those changes and settings of who you want to see, they have their own way of setting it up. And the longer that you have an ad running, the longer they're able to get that data for you. So you're able to set your duration, set an end date, either one. And then you can increase your ad. I keep calling it ad. It's a boosted post. So you're able to set your total budget for this boosted post. So I'm just doing this just to show. So I just did a simple little $15 boost on this one Facebook and Instagram post. So once I have that setting, I'm going to scroll down the screen a little bit further. And then you can see here, it has placement with a little drop down arrow. So I clicked on that little drop down arrow, and then now you're able to see that it's talking about Facebook or Messenger. Now, I'm not quite a fan of having ads pop up on Facebook Messenger, so I unchecked that. So now my ad is going to be shown all throughout Facebook. I'm sorry, I keep calling it ad. Boosted post. My boosted post is going to be shown all through Facebook. Now, once you have that set, you drop down, you set up your payment methods, and then you can click on the boost post now. From there, you're going to be able to see that the ad is going to go in, or it's an ad, but it's a boosted post. I know, I'm sorry. It's confusing language when it comes to all this. So your ad or boosted post is now in review. So Facebook and Instagram will always review the ads before they go live. So there is a little bit of a holding time here. It just goes on to show that, looking to get more engagement, the total budget for the project, and then from there, payment method, which I blocked out. So then you can always go back to your ad center. You can review any information there. But for this purpose, we're jumping right into creating an ad on Facebook. So boosting a post, you have a post that's already established. When you create an ad, this has nothing to do with actual post or content that you have already shown to the public. So I have my artwork here. So I'm using 2 images again. And this one is going to be focusing on, again, a local element, a local scene from where I reside. And I'm focusing a little bit more on the actual location and so on. So I have a little bit of a marketing post. I have a lifestyle post or graphic. So the 2 different graphics. And then I have my copy that was already saved off to the side. So now I'm going to go in. It's going to be the same scenario. So you're going to go through Facebook and you're going to go to your Facebook page. You're going to go to your ad center. And then from there, now when you click on create new ad, you're going to be actually making an ad. So first step, again, Facebook wants to basically automatically set it up for you. And I honestly think that having the overall say so is best. So I clicked on the change for automatic. I don't want that. I want to be able to direct the audience if they're interested. So you're going to be directing them or feeding them into the website. So for this ad, I'm going to be directing these people directly to my image that's available for sale. I don't want them to have to click through all these different images and so on. So that's my goal for this ad. So when I clicked on the circle here, I hit save. And then the next step is setting your description. So Facebook will take your automatic information that you have on your business page, your business photography page, and it's going to utilize that. So what you need to do is in the description field, go ahead, delete all of that content because you want to make it customized. So I put my information in here. So it's a link, it's the title of the artwork, a link, a little bit more descriptive info, and so on. No hashtags. For ads, you really don't want hashtags in here. You want it to be a nice, clean content going out. From there, you're able to select your media. So this is where you have a little bit more control as well. So you're able to click on the button. You're going to upload whatever amount of images or one image, whatever you see fit for your ad and what your goals are and how you want it to be viewed. So for me, again, it was the 2 images. I wanted this one first, this one second. From there, you can set how your button's going to be. So I chose the Shop Now button. All you have to do if it's not showing what you want as an option, you can always click on the button and then you have a whole nice variety of options there for you. From there, you're going to put in your URL that you want to have for the people to go to. So again, for this, I'm using my product. So my lighthouse image, and that is for sale through photoartpavilion.com. And I have that link specific that goes right to it. As you can see, I used a tiny URL and I customized the end just for this purpose. From there, once all those details are set, you just scroll down the page a little bit and then you have audience. So we already kind of did this once before for the boosted posts, but now I'm doing a little bit different mindset. So I am selecting Fire Island, Montauk, and Manhattan. Again, I'm located on Long Island. I'm looking for more of that local clientele. And these 3 locations basically are a nice range for the demographic here. From there, I am going more for a shopper. I am looking for anyone who's interested in landscape photography, who likes to go shopping. And I put some of the high-end stores on there just because it's a different mindset of buyer. Someone who's interested in luxury goods and fine art photography. So it's kind of more of a mixed bag as far as who's going to be viewing this. As you can see, there's a range of 2.5 to 2.9 million people that will be able to fit this kind of niche here. And then once I was done, you hit save for that little window there. And now you come down and you're able to set your budget. So for this, I'm going to be doing $5 a day. And it's going to run for 7 days. You can see over here, it's all the little details. You know, people reached, it's, I believe this is per day. I'm sorry. People reach per day. And then from there, they're estimating you're going to have anywhere from 73 to 212 people that may interact and click on the link. Again, I'm not choosing Messenger for a way for this to be viewed. However, I do want it to be viewed on Instagram and I do want it to be viewed on Facebook. Oh, sorry. So let me just go back for a second. So once you do all those, you set your payments, just like the boosted post, you're going to hit the promote now button. And then that little pop-up window will show and you'll see your details for the ad. Now moving on, the follow-up work. So it's one thing to run a boosted post or a Facebook or Instagram ad. The other thing is to follow up on it. So when you see your notifications going on and people liking it, make sure you click on the number count here of people who like it. So this was in the beginning of running the ads. This is the ad itself. So we're going to be trying to turn the likes into followers. So once you click on the number of the people who interacted with your boosted post or your ad, you're able to then click on that window and now you're able to invite these people. So it's, again, one thing to have someone like your boosted post or your ad. It's another thing to have them be followers. So this way they're always seeing your content, or at least you hope they're always seeing your content, because that's a whole nother step I'll bring you to in a moment. So as you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've invited the below people. I had the one last person to click on in this moment. And then for them, moving on to the results. So you get all the data. What does it mean? So that's a good one, right? It's numbers. All right. So again, you're going to go to your Facebook page. You're going to click on Ad Center. Now, this is basically, again, you know, you have your navigation on the side. Like I was saying before, you're going to have like, you know, random stuff on the right-hand side as well. But this is where you really want to look. So I had the ad and I have the boosted post. So as you can see, throughout the life of the ad, I was able to reach over 4,000, just slightly over 4,000 people. I had 110 people who clicked over to the product page for that image. And I spent a little bit under my budget at $31.10. Now for the engagement or the boosted posts, I had a reach of 694 people and I had 72 engagements. That means I actually had about 72 people who liked, loved, or commented on the boosted post. And I spent $15 of my $15 budget. So two different worlds as far as marketing. So when you see the reach, it means that it was able to pass through someone's screen. When there's an engagement, that means someone actually stopped, they interacted, clicking a like button or making a comment. And then obviously the links are links. So now, oh, this is hard to see. Hold on, I got to move this. So Facebook boosted post breakdown. Oh, sorry, I'm just fighting with Zoom. Okay, so performance. We had, again, just breaking it down. So this is the boosted post. We had 72 people who engaged. It went out and went in front of about 694 people's screens, either on a phone or a computer. And every engagement that I had an average of 21 cents that required that engagement. So from there, let's excuse me, just mixed it. The audience. Now you're able to break it down based on people, placements, and locations. So placements to me doesn't really matter right now. I want to see the kind of people and I want to see the location. So when I was marking my area that I wanted the ads to show in, I did overlap a little bit of Rhode Island and Connecticut in my my map. And as you can see here, they kind of popped up a little bit. But my goal was really Long Island in New York. So as you can see, the majority of the people came from New York. I was able to then see which, oops, sorry, fighting with Zoom. Okay, so as you can see here, people. I actually had more women interact with my boosted post than I did men. And the ages, as you can see, was really starting at the age 45 and older. So all this is really good information. So now that tells me that my audience is really primarily women ages 45 and older. So that's kind of interesting information. So as you go through and run these ads, you can start seeing patterns happening as far as the kinds of people that are viewing your post and interacting. Oops, sorry. Oh, I jumped. Okay, now the Facebook ad breakdown. So again, I spent about $31 of my $35 budget. I had 110 clicks or 110 people who decided to click on the link. Out of the 4,000 people who saw it, had that action. And it cost me 28 cents roughly per person for that engagement or action. From there, I am breaking it down by location and people again. So again, I kind of overlapped a little bit in Connecticut and Rhode Island, but my main primarily focus was New York. And you can just select the state. However, Long Island's just a little blip in the entire New York. All right. So now this ad, as you can see below, I actually had more women interact with it than men. Now, out of the 80% of women, 45 wasn't really it, but you can see ages 55 and older was a little bit stronger in this field. So again, just more narrowing down the type of people that interact with the art at hand. So moving on, what is your click-through rate or CTR? CTR is the number of clicks that your ad receives divided by the number of times your ad is shown. So clicks divided by impressions times 100 will give you your overall CTR. I know we're photographers, we don't like math, but it's just a little bit of math. All right. So the Facebook, sorry, Zoom here. All right, the boosted Facebook post. So now it's not actually recording links because this is engagement, but you use the same math for it. So you take the 72 engagements that we had divided by the 694, that gives you the 0.103 and so on, times by 100, and that gives me roughly a 10.3% of conversion. So a reasonable engagement rate currently is between 1% to 5%. So as you can see, it actually did pretty well. I was able to get a good percent of the people who saw the ad interacting with the ad itself. Oh, again, clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. Oh, all right. So now the actual ad. So I took the 110 divided by my reach, which was the 4,006 people. And then that equaled the 0.02. 0.02 times 100 is 2.74% for a CTR. Right now, what the going rate is about 0.9% across all industries. So again, this ad actually did pretty good. So just a little quick overall. So the boosted post for the engagement was a 10.3. It cost me 0.21 cents for the engagement. But again, that did not drive the people who engaged with my post to the site itself. The ad, a 2.74 click over rate, cost only 28 cents roughly per person per click. But that drove those people directly to the product, directly for that buy, that asking for the buy. So the overall review, both marketing efforts resulted in higher activity according to the current social media standards. That's great. But did you know? So roughly only 10% of your followers are able to see your posts. That's why boosting posts does make a difference. It allows those people who are your followers and the people beyond that don't know about you yet be able to see you and your brand a little bit more. Yeah, I just kind of said this. Okay, so boosted posts help to increase engagement and build your brand. So again, every little bit that you do, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Just a little bit going out here and there really does help to give that extra reach for you. Ads help to gain more visibility for your Facebook content, plus boost traffic to your targeted links. So if you're trying to drive traffic to your storefront, if you're trying to drive traffic to a certain collection of your work, or if you're looking to drive a certain image, maybe you have a new release, a new limited image and so on, and you want to be able to drive a little bit more excitement, this is the way to do it. I would say you create your ad. You can always add the same content in your ad onto your Facebook page. So this way you have both organic interactions and also the paid one. And that is it with my presentation. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but I do hope you guys have questions and I'll be able to help you. So I'm going to stop the share and then let's check out the chat.
Well, let me jump in.
Yes, please.
Let me jump in. Hi, everybody. I want to chat for a few seconds. Excellent presentation, Jess. I took a bunch of notes, and so I'd like to just review a few things to maybe clear up some questions. First of all, Reed, I'd like to acknowledge the Ukrainian flag behind your head. Our hearts and prayers go out to those people. It's terrible, really. Part of our dev team is in Ukraine, and so we are in constant contact with our dev team, and it's a bit heart-wrenching. So keep them in your minds. All right, so Jess, excellent presentation. So with creating the Facebook boost, what I liked about that is that you can really limit your pricing down to like $5 a day. It keeps it very affordable. You could even do something like creating a $5 a day post, but doing, let's say, 5 different posts for $5 for one day. So it kind of puts a lot of variety out into the Facebook eyeball world, if you will. So that's something that you might want to consider if you're doing a Facebook boost. Look at all the posts that you've done in the past and maybe boost one on one day, one on another day, one on another day, and kind of spread out the variety that people are going to see with your artwork and the posts and all of that. So
I do want to jump in. You just brought up a great point. So going into either Instagram or Facebook, they all basically run the same way. So if you're going and reviewing your old posts, you can see which have the most engagement. And then from there, put a few bucks behind that, and then that soars even more because you already see that it's reacting on a organic level. So now adding a few bucks behind it, it's really going to be able to do a lot more for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go.
Excellent. So you talked about when you're setting up the ad, I personally like to interact with people that see the ad. Getting the messages, like having ads go into Messenger, I wouldn't discount that because there might be a good idea if you're putting an ad into someone's messenger box and they respond back to saying something like, oh, that's great, or I like that, or I'm interested. You have the ability then to interact with them and collect those very, very precious emails that we've always talked about. I'm a big fan of email lists. So don't discount the messenger side of it. Even if you're not comfortable with it, try it. Someone might interact with your ad and say, in their messenger feed and say, I'm interested. And then you can respond back, hey, let me have your email address. I'll send you more information. So that's a great way of capturing email address. I'm always a big fan of building your direct email campaigns, because that's where you're going to get the most bang out of any marketing that you're going to do. With regard to crunching the numbers, so in one of the ads, it was a 2.7 million reach. So typically in marketing and advertising, you with a 2.7 million, usually get to 1 to 3% of that total potential reach that will actually see your ad. And then out of that 1 to 3%, you'll crunch it down and further to another 1 to 3% that will actually engage in your post. And that's what Jessica was showing. Even though you had a reach of 2.7 million people, it came down to, in one instance, I think it was 110 people. So 2.7 million times 1% times 1% again brings it way down to the actual engagement that you're going to work with. So don't be afraid if the reach is too big.
Yes. And, they say, the 2.7 million people, that's like the full bucket, if you will.
Right.
So now your ad dollars is only going to touch a little bit depending on what your budget is. So if you're looking to reach all those people, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but they're showing you that you do have a pool to work with.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so then also turning likes into followers, that is critically important. That's something that even if you're not running ads and someone sees one of your art posts, go and if they're liking if you're liking your Facebook post on just without even spending a dime, make it your habit of clicking on who's liking and engaging with your posts and seeing that list and making sure that if there's someone on that list that liked your post but is not a follower, to invite them to follow your page, invite them to follow you. I've been doing that since I've started with my Facebook page, and I've grown a little bit. I don't really engage much in Facebook anymore, but going forward, just keep in mind that there are little tools with click, 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 click around the screen, see what's going on there. You'll find a lot of good, useful information as well. So now the audience breakdown portion that you talked about, this is critical because as you're starting out with a $5 post or $5 boost or whatever, and you start to look at that audience breakdown, who's your audience, that information is critical and important, because now you're really going to get into this target market. Now, going back to some of the J&J cafes that we've done in the past, we've talked about target marketing and target audience, and you guys are always asking me, well, how do I know who that is? Well, you have to throw a few dollars up against the fan and see where it lands, and then look at that information and that data, because now what Jessica just uncovered is that her audience, what she thought was between the age of 35 and 65, is really now closer to 55 and 65. So now you could take that $5, and when you go and target your ad, eliminate the under 55 crowd and go after the women between 55 and 65, because that's your target audience. Now you're taking your $5 and you're stretching it and spreading it more accurately than just throwing it out there. So that helps you really focus on your ad spend. And I think that's really critical, because listen, every dollar in the art business counts. It's a tough business. We have to spend a few dollars here and a few dollars there to kind of get some traction going with what we're doing. So I encourage you guys to really sit down and look at your analytics from there on the Facebook side. Now, some of you posted in the chat analytics about the Photo Art Pavilion page, and I think it's great. I replied back here saying that if you're with the Photo Art Pavilion, if you have the Google Analytics already set up, most of us do have Google Analytics set up for personal websites or other things that we're doing on the web. send us your Google Analytics code, your setup, and we'll add it to your storefront, your Photo Art Pavilion storefront. So then your Google Analytics is going to show you all this data, what's going on at Photo Art Pavilion, what's going on at, all these other different places where you're marketing and advertising your artwork. So, we want to be able to deliver the analytics back to you. But if you just give us those Google Analytics, then we can have it specific, and then you can control it yourself. If you're running an ad, you can see exactly what's going on with it. You don't have to keep reaching out to us or logging into another place to find your analytics. Google should be able to capture it all for you. So that's why we're leaving, you send us the code, we'll add it on, and we'll get it going for you. So I guess at this point, I will open up the floor. Jess, looks like you got something else.
I do want to announce too, when we first launched Photo Art Pavilion, we did want to utilize Google Analytics for everyone across the board. However, Google limits the amount of accounts you can add, and there was just no way they could accommodate what we're doing. So that's why we put it, we have to work with the artist and really hone in on those analytics for you and help you with that and get them set up.